Stephanie Bain, I have a books. I'm a book nerd. There's so many books. Hello everyone. Today's video is going to be a little bit different. I was at the store and I got this candle and it smelled really good, but it reminded me of a book I had read, and it just kind of sparked this interest of, well, I have some candles, or well, a candle, some smells, and like things that remind me of books, whether it's a book that reminds me of another book, a song that like every time I hear it, all I can think about is a certain book. So it's going to be a smorgasbord of those, and there's no point in dragging on. I'm just going to start. So what sparked this was this candle from Target. It's called Passion Flower, but honestly, if I'm going to describe it to you, it smells like fresh linens with this beautiful floral scent on like a cold, but not too cold, like a nice fall day where fall's just starting to come in. It hasn't like changed the leaves or anything yet. That's literally like what this candle reminds me of. But for some reason, this candle I feel probably smells like something I obviously had when I was reading this series, but all I could think about when I got it, and it's funny because at the time I was reading this series, like I was reading, I think, the last book, but this candle, Passion Flower, and it's a $3 like Target candle, and it's really nice smelling. Reminds me of the Sweep series by Kate Tiernan. Like, I smell this, and I promise you, I feel like I'm back in high school and I'm like reading the first like bind up of the books I had at the time. Like, that's literally what it reminds me of. It. It's crazy how it can do that, but it just kind of like took me back for a moment. Lilies and Freesias. Literally smells like what it says, a nice florally scent, but very fresh and clean and light. I love scents like that. I like scents that make me, like for spring and summer, I like clean scents. I'm not big on sweets. But this one, for some reason, I don't know if it's the same one, but I picked this up a couple years, this is like my millionth bottle, but I picked this up a while back, the smell, after getting it, after not having gotten it for so long. And the first thing I thought of was the road trip where I read Angels and Demons and Da Vinci Code, like, because it was pretty back to back I read them. So it really reminds me of this. It reminds me of, because I had the mass paperback of this back in the day. But it's just like, I smell it, and God, I hit my shoulder with that. That book weighs a lot. And I swear, like, it's weird because it's like I get that like feeling like that. Like, do you guys ever have that feeling where you're reminded by something and you just get like this over, like, it's just kind of like everywhere. It's just kind of like something feels weird. Something reminds me. And usually the weather does that a lot to me, where like the times are changing and it just feels weird. I'm like, oh, it feels weird. The day doesn't feel right. It reminds me of a really old day. Like, I feel like I've already lived this day. This feeling of this day has already been lived. Can we please move on? I know that's a weird thing, but that happens to me a lot. But that smell reminds me of Da Vinci Code. And I think it's great, though, because every time I put it on, I just think of the road trip to go to North Carolina. And I'm just like, oh my God, like that. It's just like, you know, I love it. I really do. My go-to spray I've always gone to. Me and my friend loved the exact same body spray from Victoria's Secret. My bestie. She's amazeballs. But me and her were always obsessed with Heavenly. I'm pretty sure we still slightly are. Like, every now and again I'm gonna go buy my lotion and buy my spray. Like, I've been using this since, like, we've both been using it since like high school. I had to say we because like we love it just as much. But anyway, so like the other day I hadn't used this little body spray in a while. It's just been sitting in my bathroom. I was like, oh, you know, the weather's changing in Florida. It's getting hotter than usual. Like, this past winter was pretty decent, and now it's just like unbearably hot outside. But I was like, oh, I feel like just spritzing my sheets and, you know, making it smell like that, because I ran out of my favorite Febreze. And I was like, I'll use some perfume. Well, body mist. Angel mist, sorry. Angel mist. And as soon as I put this shit in my room, I was like, wow. Like, right now, I'm going to actually spray myself right now. As soon as I spray this, I got some in my mouth. All I could think about was Twilight, my senior year, reading Twilight, watching the movie a million times, just like all of those things. Like, it's so weird though, because like, I just brought back all the Twilight fandom. I mean, granted, I see my Twilight books on my shelf all the time, but this smell just brought this back to me so hard. And it's like very, like, that was just like 4 days ago that I like sprayed my sheets. I was like, oh, I want them to smell like heavenly. I haven't used it in a longest time. I know it's not bad to leave sprays like that forever. I should probably throw some, buy a new one, but I'm not going to. But oh my god, and now I smell like my high school self. And now the next one I have is an author's writing. The next two are author's writings that remind me of like the feeling of other books or something like that. So the first one I have here is Cassandra Clare. I'm not saying Cassandra Clare writes like this author or like, you know, vice versa. All I'm saying is when I was reading The Mortal Instruments, I think it's also because it's a little more like juvenile. Like, not like it's bad or anything. It's just the problems, not even the problems because their problems are serious. But like something about it, it just reminds me of being very like young for some reason. I don't know. And it just gave me this feeling of L.J. Smith. I like literally, all I could think of was like L.J. Smith books. I'm holding up the Vampire Diaries, The Awakening. But all I could think of, like, legit was, I want to read an L.J. Smith book. I want to read an L.J. Smith book. It got so bad that I literally bought the second to last trilogy in the Vampire Diaries series. And then I bought The Secret Circle, the first 3 books. Because it's like 2 books, but it's a bind up in total, and there's 3. I don't know what it is. She still, like, when I read her, sometimes I'm just like, I suddenly feel like reading L.J. Smith, and I think it's a great feeling because I love L.J. Smith's writing. She has this like, I don't know, I just love it. I was recently rereading the first book in this bind up of books, and that is Kissed by an Angel by Elizabeth Chandler. Reading this, I never realized, but I got such V.C. Andrew vibes. I don't know what it is. And honestly, the spray, talking about this book and holding up V.C. Andrews, I like it. Doesn't feel like deja vu, but it just feels very familiar. I like that feeling of familiar. I can't say that word. My senior year, after I read Twilight, you guys know I went on this huge like paranormal binge. I read Evermore, I read Kissed by an Angel, I read a shit ton of L.J. Smith, the Sweep series, I read the night school thingy series. And I read like so many, like The Beautiful Creatures, which I like the first book. And I just read like all of these things. And so while I was reading Night World, I was in school for those days. They were doing testing for younger grades. And because I'm a moron, I actually went to school I think 2 of those days. Because if I'm correct, I want to say that me and my best friend Margarita, because like my mom was like, yeah, you can stay home if you want. But we knew that if we would have stayed home, we wouldn't have read. I don't remember what she was reading at the time. It could have been The Host, but I could be wrong. I don't remember. Margarita, if you're watching this, like, text me later because now I'm curious. But I know that we were both reading. And we were like, oh, let's go to school so we could sit in class and read all day. Because that makes perfect sense, right? So we went to school. I was reading the Night World series at the time. And this song that I couldn't find anywhere else is literally what I listened to on repeat for this whole series. Like the entire series I read in school, most of it, when I was in school, on repeat, no joke. Oh my god, it just reminds me of things so like that. I love Bass Hunter. Okay, the next one is related to the fact that after I read Twilight, you guys know I was reading a lot of books. A lot of these have to do with my senior year. But I had read In the Woods the year before. Like, before I read Twilight and stuff, I read the book In the Woods by Tana French. Which is... Drop that. Which is this one. And at the time, I didn't know there was going to be a sequel. The sequel to In the Woods, which is The Likeness. So, I mean, I got this like a year after I read the other one. So, I'm extremely surprised that my ass... Yeah, this is a 4th copy. 4th printing. And I listened, because I was so into Twilight at the moment, I only ever listened to the Twilight soundtrack, which is still one of my absolute favorite soundtracks ever. Twilight and New Moon and Eclipse. But New Moon's my absolute favorite. Anyway, let's get back on point. And this song. I was a quick
Diving too deep for coins. I love your straight line life. Wide on my plastic toys.
But all I can think of is the likeness. I mean, I listened to the whole soundtrack, not on repeat. I didn't listen to just the one song, but that song stands the most out to me, and it just, in general, it gives me the likeness feels. So that is my weird video. I probably will do more of these because I always come across smells or movies or things like that, or songs that just remind me of when I read. But I hope you guys enjoyed this. Let me know with a thumbs up if you did. Maybe I'll do more of these in the future if I, you know, think up enough things. Not think up, but like remember or read another author that reminds me of something. I don't know. I enjoy things like this because I'm a big, like, I have a lot of nostalgia, and I like have these moments where I like feeling nostalgic about certain things. So if that even makes sense, I don't know. But I hope you guys enjoy this video. Comment down below if you guys have anything that reminds you and gives you another book's vibe, you know, like whether it was an author or it's a smell that reminds you of a book, or, you know, a song. Just like let me know down below because I love things like this. I just think it's cool to like swap stories. But I'll see you guys in my next video, and yeah, bye.